He is a great fish, and I must convince him, he thought. I must never let him learn his strength, nor what he could do if he made his run. If I were him, I would put in everything now and go until something broke. But thank God they are not as intelligent as we who kill them, although they are more noble and more able. There are two very different ways of thinking about life and death. The animal rights movement is a collection of groups who call for an end to killing, cruelty, and the exploitation of animals. People who fish, hunt, trap, or use animals in ways that may or may not cause those animals to die represent the other point of view. Animal rights advocates consider those who eat meat, raise, process, or sell it, or who use animals in any aspect of their work, cruel and inhumane. But are they right? Is the hunter or trapper or medical researcher any less moral or ethical than those who march to the phrase, "Be kind to animals"? It's a question that swirls through an emotional debate that's being waged every day around the world. How that question is resolved will affect the way we live our lives, whether certain cultures survive, what future jobs will exist, how we'll be able to interact with nature and our environment. It also affects our perceptions. Our perceptions shape public opinion. Public opinion then becomes the basis for public policy that in turn results in new laws. It's a very serious business. Too serious for judgments based on emotion, far removed from fact. Most animal rights activists envision a world where animals live as equals among humans. They demand that we refrain from using any species for any reason for our own means. Some say it's wrong to draw animals into our lives as companions or pets. Animals, they say, should be saved from all that. They claim their goal is to end animal suffering caused by the hand of man. But is that really their reason to exist? If the end to suffering is indeed their goal, their focus would be on improving the quality of life for animals, not trying to make all humans become vegetarian. Their shock slogans calling meat murder and equating our relationship to animals as slavery reveals their real agenda. Animals may not be raised for food, for leather, or fur, nor should we hunt, fish, trap, ride, race, or disturb them in their natural habitat. Animal rights is very much a religion with true believers who follow a four-word creed: thou shalt not kill. In their world vision, life is king, and its opposite, death, is unthinkable, and to a large extent, unthought of. A world where the lion lies down with the lamb, where no blood is shed, is very appealing. In it, anyone who puts an end to life is wrong. But is this land of peaceable creatures where death is forever cheated truly compatible with nature? Saving animals from death occupies a large part of the animal rights creed. What they never mention are the consequences that would flow if it became reality. If every creature that ever lived, every bacterium, every fly, fish, flamingo, every lion, mouse, raccoon, and rabbit, every ant or cockroach, if every human ever born were to populate the planet for all time, imagine what life on Earth would be like. Our rivers and streams would run dry. Our cities would stretch from sea to sea. There would be no land to farm, no wild places. In a hopelessly overpopulated world, there would be no green space left at all. Where would we put our waste? Without forests, wetlands, steppes, or prairies, what would become of the air we breathe, the water we drink? Against that backdrop, the idea of no death begins to lose its allure. Quality of life starts to spoil. Nature knows better. That's why we die. Eternal life for humans and animals is no different than eternal life for our body's cells. Tragically, we call cells that do not die but instead multiply without end cancer. Life without death destroys nature's equilibrium. It destroys the joy and luster of life itself. In nature, death is life's twin. The two are inseparable, intertwining and encircling one another. There must be death for life to thrive. This circle of life is an ancient idea found in most religions and in virtually every culture's tradition. The sun will set on my time here and rise on you. Wise words from Mufasa, the Lion King, who counsels his young heir, Simba, that everything exists in a delicate balance. Simba asks, "Do antelopes need to be eaten by lions?" Amused, Mufasa explains, "When we die, our bodies become the grass, and the antelope in turn eat the grass." Each generation is bound together by birth, then life, then death. That's nature's way. Why then do we ignore death when we make decisions for ourselves, our families, our cities and states, our nation, our planet? It's far easier to think about saving another's life, particularly that of a sad-eyed animal, than to face the fact that we too will die. Actually, saving an animal's life is something the majority of us who live in cities or suburbs will never experience. But we can write a check or quit eating meat or wearing fur or leather to distract us from the reality of death. We avoid addressing its existence precisely because death reminds us of our own impermanence. The inevitability of our own death is an undeniable truth we try daily to deny. Why then does the claim by the animal rights community that they can postpone an animal's death give them the right to walk a higher moral road than the rest of us, or act as if they are more ethical than others in society? In many ways, animal advocacy groups differ little from global corporations. They create a product, calculate profit and loss, look to client recruitment and sales no differently than those who trade on Wall Street. They vie for influence over the public by portraying their competition, those who hunt, fish, trap, farm, or seek ways to combat disease in humans and animals, as cruel and inhumane. Their rhetoric denies that the men, women, and children engaged in those activities respect and cherish animals too. To the contrary, the ranks of hunters, farmers, and trappers are filled with people who take time and effort to conserve wild habitat, plant native food sources, protect streams and wetlands, build nesting sites, erect water guzzlers in desert lands, and brave winter weather to provide forage for snowbound elk, antelope, and deer. Their government-regulated activities don't differ from the culling by four-legged predators. A human hunter taking an old buck is no more wrong than a coyote or wolf pack feasting on the same animal. After 30-plus years raising and spending over $1 billion, has the animal rights community had any success in banishing death? All their words and all their money failed to eliminate even the so-called ethical killing of several million surplus pets each year by local humane societies. So just what is the basis for the animal rights community's claim to the role of animal advocates? What do they do with millions donated to save animals? Stopping animal cruelty is not reserved solely for the animal rights community. It's the responsibility of decent people on both sides of the debate. Wanton killing, acts that cause needless suffering, or deliberately injuring something helpless are wrong, no matter the culprit. Such behavior is characteristic of a pathology that must not be excused. how we treat animals involves more than eliminating cruelty. If humans deserve our own reasonable quality of life, so do the animals around us. To whatever extent possible, an animal should be allowed to live and enjoy its unique role in nature's diversity. In a perfect world, fish swim, birds fly, they reproduce, they endure. Eventually, they die. Then the next generation takes center stage. What concerns us is that each year, hundreds of species are said to be inching toward or teetering on the brink of extinction. Some exist in zoos or preserves because their natural habitat is lost due to pollution, development, or predation. Wild habitat destruction is a largely preventable form of abuse. Perhaps part of the answer of how to preserve value in the lives of animals can be found in the human condition. Life is not always full and rich. There are no guarantees. Too often it's all too brief. Suffering, like death, is an inescapable part of life. Our world may not be perfect, but it's where we live. Life without suffering, failure, or death is a fantasy or a myth. It's a utopia that exists only in the human mind that created it. The real quality of life is not its length, but how we live it. That's equally true for animals. If it's natural for humans and animals to struggle to survive, then what are groups like PETA and the Humane Society of the United States selling? Last year, an estimated 7 to 10 million dogs and cats were put to death by local humane societies in the United States alone, simply because they had no homes. Instead of sheltering and saving those animals, the champions of animal rights spent millions to campaign against fishing, trapping, hunting, the wearing of fur and leather, marine parks, zoos, medical research, and raising farm animals. Some have done animals a service. They raised the debate over farm animals crowded into common homes and worked to improve animal housing in laboratories before animal welfare became a national priority. Defining quality of an animal's life is where sides begin to form. Despite their posing with cuddly kittens and puppies, animal rights leaders are quite candid in their efforts to get us to free our pets. Dogs differ in DNA from wolves only by 0.2%. Yet wolves roam the wild, avoiding humans. And dogs seem happy enough to spend their lives with us. Cats consider our homes their own. They share our sofas and our beds. Still, they are hunters and carnivores, related to some 36 species of wild felines, including lions and tigers, leopards, and lynx. Still, some 10 to 15 million stray dogs and cats prove daily that they can live without us. Are they worse off than the lion, tiger, coyote, or cougar? If the choice was theirs, which life would our pets choose? Life with us, or would they prefer to run free and wild? How about elephants? Should every elephant living among humans be released? Should no more be captured or culled, even though their native rangeland vanished? Would a hen choose life as a broiler or perpetual egg layer, crowded feather to beak with 25 to 50,000 others? Or would she prefer to walk freely about a pasture or forest, scratching and pecking for bugs and seeds, even though she may be prey to dozens of wild creatures from the land or sky? What about calves in a dairy? Should life for females center only on a milk production line? Should newborn bulls be placed in cramped pens for a few weeks, then butchered for veal? Or would they prefer to be slaughtered a few months later for fast food dairy beef? How about fish? Would they choose to swim in circles in a bowl or aquarium, or in ponds on a fish farm? Would they choose a river, stream, or ocean current for their home? Before you guess for them, remember life beneath the sea is far from risk-free. Pollution, predators, and huge nets in search of seafood all loom in the background. Releasing water park dolphins or orcas raised in captivity, or lobsters from grocers' wet tanks into the wild if they can't survive, is far from humane. Would every animal choose life in the wild? Probably not. The one choice no animal would make would be to let us make that choice for them. All life comes with natural limits. Thanks to science and technology, humans greatly extended our time on Earth by years and decades. Still, from any point of view, the way we deal with any of nature's creatures, human and non-human alike, has hardly been kind. As we leave increasingly heavy footprints around the planet, who among us would claim there's no room for improvement? If we are to improve the lot of animals and live truly compassionate lives, we must make difficult choices. Stopping farming and ranching, fishing, hunting, and trapping are not among them. Nature never said humans alone must not hunt, kill, or give up eating meat. Above all else, the path we choose must not set us apart from nature. Human beings are a part of nature. We rely on the earth to sustain us. We could not become who and what we are without using nature's resources in a variety of ways. Today, most of us live surrounded by glass and steel, connected by ribbons of macadam or concrete long removed from the wild. But some semblance of the wild remains in all of us. Those same roads can take us back to woodlands, rivers, the ocean, or mountain streams for a weekend or longer if we're fortunate. There we renew our sense of oneness with nature and feel our lives are truly complete. That freedom makes us by default the Earth's designated caretakers. As such, we must be compassionate toward each species and each life form, each ecosystem, if we are to maintain nature's balance. We must protect the animals on our farms, in our homes, and in the wild, because every life is linked to our own. We must not abuse our position as Earth's steward, or the creatures and resources entrusted to our care. To claim that animals can be saved from death denies nature's rule that each species derives life from another. Without death, Earth quickly becomes overcrowded, resource depleted, and destroyed. Animals that hunt will teach their young the difference between predator and prey. Each succeeding generation will hunt to survive. We must realize that if we are to live, we will cause and share the travails of other animals in one way or another. We will play a part in their deaths, and nothing the animal rights community can say or do will change that fact. But death need not be paired with cruelty. As far as it is in our power, we should strive to see that animals are allowed to exist and reproduce, to enjoy life, to fulfill whatever their role in nature might be. We are justified to ask what exactly have animal activists done for animals. Pigs still become bacon. Steers give us steaks and burgers. Fish will be breaded and broiled. Cows will be milked and chickens will be fried, baked, and barbecued. Life will continue to feed on life as it always has. Groups and individuals who vow to eat no meat, wear no leather or fur, drink no milk, and who insist on vilifying those who hunt, fish, farm, or delve into nature's secrets through science can save no animals' lives. We all die. The danger they pose is their potential to distract us from who we are. Should we allow them to sway our moral compass? Do they deserve their claim to the ethical and moral high ground? Should they be allowed to set the agenda for how we care for the earth and its resources? It is not moral, ethical, or humane to support efforts to stop medical investigators looking for ways to cure disease in humans and animals alike, or to shut down biotech pioneers working to increase our food supply without converting more wild acres into farmland. No group, no amount of money can prevent the death of a single animal. If we bar hunting or fishing, will the deer or fish live forever? Will such an act discourage a coyote or hawk with a taste for flesh? Eliminating humans from nature's complex equation does not make the rule of the fang and claw more compassionate or humane. Where we differ from animals is in our ability to alter our behavior to ensure that our fellow inhabitants, human and non-human, are treated with respect. We have no power over death, but we can make a difference in how we treat others in our cities, our homes, our farms, and in the wild. We need not wage a holy war of ideologies. Vegans and hunters and trappers and folks who enjoy a juicy steak or burger can be animal advocates working together to change things that need to be changed and to better understand what is an acceptable quality of life for all creatures.